Hi everyone and welcome to Adobe Live. We're live from Adobe Max, the creativity conference. And we will be live every week on Behance, by the way. This is the new place to watch the live streams, behance.net/live. And during this hour, we will talk photography because we have three amazing guests. They had an amazing experience and wanted to share this experience with you. It's the Road to Max project. But first, maybe you want to introduce yourself. So we start with Nathalie.
Bonjour.
Nathalie, who is French. And guess what? I'm French too. So maybe we will do some live translation because you prefer to speak in French?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let us know in the chat where you're from. Maybe we have some people from France watching. So this is our friends, okay, from the chat. And yeah, and I'm sure you will enjoy some French accent from Anna. Usually it's very popular. They love it. Okay, you want to introduce yourself to our friends?
Yeah, sure. My name's Rich McCall. I'm from London and I have an Instagram account called Paper Boyo where I do photos with paper cutouts in real life situations. So it's kind of a quirky photography, kind of creative, off the wall. Yeah.
Cool, and we have some people from Paris. I see Alan Lessori say hello from Paris. So,
Hey.
we are not alone, Nathalie.
anyone from London? Yeah, I want to see London people.
And see people from Netherlands, from Bogota, so all around the world. Thanks for joining.
Nice.
And Thomas, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Good to be here.
Yeah?
Yep.
And so, if you want to, if you have to introduce yourself.
Of course. Hi, I'm Thomas. I'm a photographer based in Berlin, and you can find me on Instagram by Thomas K, Thomas_K to be more precise. And I started with street photography, and yeah, my style has changed during the last few years. And as of today, I would say that I shoot lots of architecture and urban stuff, and it was a huge challenge for me to do some landscape and nature work on this trip.
Cool. So we have three very cool photographers. You all use Instagram as a platform to share your work, communicate, and they were actually maybe the first users of the new Lightroom CC that we announced this morning during the keynote. Did you watch the keynote this morning?
Of course.
Yeah.
No, Nathalie. What did you do?
J'étais un peu malade ce matin.
Oh, she was a little bit sick. She was sick. Okay, so thanks for coming.
But Natalie knows all about Lightroom already, so it's fine.
Yeah, you don't need to read the news because so they use the new Lightroom CC, the one who is actually syncing in the cloud that you can use on your mobile device, in the web, everywhere. So we really invite you to download and try the new Lightroom CC today. It's available since this morning. I mean, you have been using it for 10 days, but officially for all the Creative Cloud members, it's available this morning.
Finally.
You can try it for free also. So just go on adobe.com, okay? And let us know what you think about it. We're very excited. So what we could do before, okay, so they had an amazing week, I guess, or 10 days.
Yep,
Crazy
yeah,
one.
9 or 10 days. Yeah.
So before maybe explaining what you did, we can maybe discover your work, your style, and then we will talk about the Road to Max project. Sound good? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. We start with Nathalie. So Nathalie, you can speak in French and I will translate. We'll try that. I never done that, but I'm happy to try. So this is your Instagram account.
Oui.
Nat Paris.
Nat Paris.
Okay. So what is your expertise? What do you do? Usually, what type of pictures?
Alors, ouais, on peut parler de ce qu'on a fait.
Avant. Ouais.
Alors en fait, donc moi je suis de Paris.
So she's from Paris.
Je fais surtout de la street photographie.
As you can see. So she's really big on street photography.
Je fais quelques paysages.
Landscapes.
Mais ça reste vraiment quand même, j'aime bien mettre des personnages dans mes photos pour avoir une perspective et une dimension en fait du paysage par rapport au personnage pour se rendre compte vraiment de la dimension et de l'immensité sur certains
So Nathalie is saying that she likes to include characters in the scene so you can feel the dimension, the perspective, and also how is the landscape, such as this picture, for instance, is a good example.
Yes.
Les quais.
Les quais de Seine.
Les quais de Seine. Oh, we have a male person say, oh, this is beautiful. Yeah, what do you think? Great photos, says Alexandros.
Yes.
Thank you, yeah. Let us know what you think. And And also so I see you do street photography. Oh, I really like this shot. Oh no, I am homesick now. I want to go back to Paris now. This is beautiful.
J'essaye de prendre en fait les photos avec une bonne lumière.
Yeah, light
aussi,
is very important for the picture.
Voilà. Et Paris dans toutes ses saisons parce que c'est vraiment super joli.
And she tries to capture all the seasons of Paris because each season is different and beautiful. Oh yeah, this is awesome. Oh, you are so epic là. Wow.
It's me.
Natalie, superhero. So let us, like these pictures, for instance. So they end on Instagram. And they really love their stuff. Like Gina said, "Oh, I really love your stuff." So it ends on Instagram. But how do you take your pictures? Like, what kind of camera do you use?
Oui, j'ai commencé avec l'iPhone au tout début.
Really at the beginning.
Et depuis 3 ans, j'utilise un Fuji X-T1.
So it's a Fuji X-T1. So is it a compact camera? Yeah.
Hybride.
Hybrid, yeah, exactly. So you can change the lens.
Yes.
But it's compact body, and the Fuji X-T1. And you started 3 years ago to work with a more professional camera than the iPhone. Although the iPhone today, I mean, it's quite impressive. I mean, we'll see if you use the iPhone. It will be interesting to talk to you. And you use Lightroom in your workflow?
Oui, alors je connaissais pas très bien Lightroom.
Okay, so you're
donc j'ai
beginner with Lightroom.
Voilà, j'ai commencé à l'apprendre un peu mieux pendant le road trip.
During the Road to Max experience, you started using Lightroom.
Yeah.
So your feedback will be very cool because I really want to hear what was your experience with this new Lightroom CC, which has been really designed for everyone. Because we noticed that more and more people are enthusiastic about taking pictures and sharing pictures. So that's why we wanted, to design a new experience for Lightroom users. And and this is new today, available on adobe.com. Okay. If you have any question for Natalie, for all our guests, by the way, just ask the questions in the chat. Okay. So this is beautiful work, Natalie.
Thank you.
And we will see the new pictures, but after. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's talk about you, Mr. Pepper Boyo.
Yes.
So
it sounds so good in a French accent.
Martin is asking, where is the stream coming from? We are live from Adobe Max. This is in Las Vegas this year, and we are in the community pavilion. Do we have a GoPro ready, Chris? Okay, we will show them because you have no idea where we are. I can show you. Oh, okay. So, hey. By the way, I want to say thank you to GoPro. It's here because thanks to them we have the new GoPro 5. Thank you, GoPro. So this is the community pavilion. You see the experience. There are 12,000 people there. 12,000 people all enjoying Max during 3 days, and we will be live from this stage for 3 days. Okay. So this was to answer your question. I hope you had no problem with the old Lightroom. So we can talk about it actually. It's a good question. So Pepper Boyo.
Yes.
Your work is so, and I'm very excited because I knew your work.
Oh,
like before the Road to Max experience, I was like, wow, so great, so creative. So yeah, maybe how do you introduce yourself when it comes to your work?
I still haven't figured out a way to succinctly describe what I do. Really, it's a strange one.
It's a strange one. It's It's a strange one.
So I mean, it started. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I used to make. I made a music video for a friend's band, and we had no money, so I made all the sets and characters out of paper. So that's how I became interested in paper craft and paper cutouts. And then about 2014, I became interested in photography. When Instagram got big, I rode the bandwagon and became interested in wanting to go out and take photos. And I live in London, so I realised that all the photos I took in London looked like everyone else's photos.
This is a good one.
So then I combined papercraft and photography to start exploring London in a slightly different way, and came up with this idea of transforming landscapes with paper. And then it kind of went from there. It was just a hobby, and the hobby took off.
This is your tool, I guess.
Yeah, this is a time lapse of me doing some cutouts.
And is it your background? Like you started as a more graphic designer?
No. So I've got no artistic training at all.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to do something creative, but it was only when I discovered photography and papercraft that I realised that it was that I wanted to do.
Wow.
There was a lot of other creative hobbies that I got into that I didn't really go anywhere with, but this has been the one thing that I've really ran with and really enjoyed doing.
So we have a good question by Elizabeth, and again,
Yes.
feel free to ask questions. How do you keep your photos, like when you share on Instagram, from being copied? Because your style is so strong.
Yeah, well, I've had a few imitators, which I take as a compliment.
Okay.
But then there's
That's
one or
good
two
feedback.
people who they've definitely sort of started doing their own Instagram account, very much in my style. But it's cool to see, and I kind of like the fact that people are doing it as well because it keeps me motivated to keep improving my own work as well, I think. So
It's good feedback.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes we have like people from the community that are a little bit scared about sharing their work.
Yeah,
You say, oh, maybe they will steal my ideas, but
I think you've always got to keep reinventing anyway. I mean, I've started doing, and we'll look at it a little bit later, but I've started doing animations with After Effects just to bring the photos to life a little bit. And I
you have some examples here?
Yeah, I did one on the road to Max, but let's go.
Maybe this one?
No, if you carry on scrolling up.
Okay.
I'll show you one I did.
This one?
Keep on. Yeah, that's not so good. Let me show you a better one. Yeah, if you just click on the middle one there of the guy. Yeah. So this is in London.
And this was using After Effects.
This is After Effects and a little bit of Photoshop.
Interesting.
With real paper cutouts. So when you scroll through it on Instagram, but then it comes to life. So it's meant to be a guy with a spray can.
Yeah, like a.
But it's I try to time it so that when you're scrolling through Instagram, you look at it and then it comes. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a surprise.
It's messing up your screen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's so good.
It seemed to go down quite well. So yeah, I'm still experimenting with bringing it to life. It's kind of fun.
Oh, Marcelo Arrojo said there is no style in photography, there is inspiration.
I agree with that.
It's an angle.
Yeah, I think we should all, as you kind of alluded to, I think we should all share our ideas and not be afraid of.
And Ismail says that paper cutouts, it's a really unique approach. It will be very hard to come up with a better hybrid photography idea.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Be creative. I'm sure you'll find some good ideas.
It's really nice to see some good feedback because I think in the world of photography, I've come across a few people who sort of dismiss what I do as not really being photography, which I sort of understand. But I like these two guys and a lot of other people I've met have been really supportive of what I do and the fact that I'm doing something a little bit different. So it's a great community to be a part of.
Oh, it's awesome. And it's nice also that you had this wheel of learning more and moving to motion design.
Yeah.
I see more and more photographers actually, usually they start with the photography plan. So they have Photoshop and Lightroom, and now actually we have also a photography plan, like the new one, they have the new Lightroom too, so you really should check that. But then if you want to learn more, you say, okay, maybe I want to jump in the video world, because a lot of photographers, they want to do video. Maybe you do video, Thomas, no? Oh, Thomas.
We were just chatting about this actually, we were chatting over
I would
breakfast.
love to, but I'm not like anywhere close,
You will.
to being like, okay.
But then what's cool is that if you have the photography plan, you can just extend to the full Creative Cloud plan, and then you access all the apps.
Yeah.
So Premiere Pro, After Effects, as you did, and it's an awesome story. It's good. Okay, so this is Paper Boyo, and you have a website too.
I've got a book coming out, so that's.
You have a book coming out.
Perfect excuse to talk about my book. There we go.
Ta-da. Advertisement.
There we are.
Around the world in cutouts. Oh, so what is the story? Like, why a book? What is it?
Well, I wanted to have like some really high quality photos because Instagram's great, but it's quite small really. So it's nice to have it as a big digital size, and also the stories behind the inspiration, some of my travels, behind the scene photos. There's a nice bit at the back where you can cut out your own stuff, your own cutouts, and go off and take photos. So it's it's a fun book, I think.
So Judith is asking you, Judith and Rolf, are the cutouts spontaneous, or like do you cut them out in the field, or do you prepare your shots?
So mostly it's a lot of planning. So when I started in London, I had the privilege of having all the time, so I could walk around.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's in Vegas. That's here in Vegas. That's the Neon Museum.
Wow, good job.
I shot that last year. So yeah, I'd normally in London I'd walk around, get an idea, and then I'd come back to my place and cut it out and go back out again. But if I'm traveling, I'll do a lot of research and planning into where I'm going to go, and then I'll cut out my cutouts before I go traveling. But I always take my cutting boards, some paper, and some small tools with me, just in case I walk around, get an idea, go back to the hotel, cut it out, and go back out again. Yeah, but it takes a lot of planning and research.
A lot of planning.
Yeah. But the idea is to make it look spontaneous still by.
And sometimes does it fail?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I would say if I have 10 ideas, only about 7 or 8 will work. And then,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got
Like
a bit better.
70%.
Yeah,
That's good.
but like things like the wind, or if I go somewhere and there's scaffolding, or there's too many tourists, or the weather isn't good, there's a whole range of factors that just sometimes ruin a shot. But it makes it fun. You know, I go there and I just don't quite know if it's going to work or not. Yeah, it keeps it interesting for me.
We have Tim in the chat who said, "Oh, I didn't know who made these cutouts." Because it's true that your photography, like you can see them on Instagram, or sometimes it's reposted, you know, by other accounts.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't really know who is the
Yeah, sometimes it's not
the man
credited,
behind
it's a shame,
it.
yeah.
There
we
you
go, yeah.
Live on Adobe Live, that's cool. Okay, thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, my
It's
pleasure.
awesome.
Yeah.
And now Thomas.
Yes.
And you all have a lot of followers on Instagram. Oh my God, Thomas. So it's a country. The country is following you.
That's always the first question I get. Yeah.
Yeah, like how many followers? So how do you define your style, your work? Because you're all very different, which is also
Totally.
cool.
Yeah. As I said in the beginning, I started with classic street photography. So what it means, I was taking like photos with my mobile of people without them knowing.
Okay.
So like the classic approach, like to street
With a
photography.
smartphone?
With a smartphone back then.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like it was 2010 with an old iPhone back then, and
Okay.
that's how it all started. So that's how I also like developed my passion for photography. And first I was just taking pictures for fun because I downloaded Instagram and was just trying out. But then very quickly I found some really inspiring stuff on that platform, and especially given the fact that people were creating like this kind of art with their phones.
Okay.
And yeah, it kept me thinking that, I mean, I have this phone as well, so why not going out and trying it myself? And that's what I did, and that's how it all started. And
Wow.
with all the years that passed ever since, of course, I was trying to change my style, my approach, and to develop it further, of course. And so I would say there is still like a human element to my work,
Okay.
but it's not classic street photography anymore. So I feel like like I expanded like my view, and now I see like the whole city, not only the people, but I try like to portray like the whole city, like the streets, the alleys, the buildings. But of course, the people are very important, like part of the city. So as you can see, I don't get rid of them. Also, there's portraits like that. But this is something that I developed like quite recently, maybe 1 year ago.
Okay.
Like. Again, I was thinking like how to become a better photographer, and how to improve my style in the end, and to make it richer. And since I told you I always loved like photographing people without them knowing, so why not trying it with a stage, and with them being like fully aware of being photographed, and to try it like the other way around.
That's super interesting, and actually someone was asking a very good question. Keep feeding with questions, they are very good today. Someone was asking, like, you all live now from your work as photographers? Nathalie, yeah, you're all professional photographers. Nathalie aussi, tu lis, bah, oui.
Oui.
She said oui. Hein? Oui. So, but what is striking me is that you all started as a hobbyist, you know?
Oh, yeah, totally.
With iPhones, like just for fun because you enjoy that.
Yeah,
and now that's your job.
Yeah, I had no ambitions of turning it into a job. It was always just something I did in the evenings and weekends for fun. And I mean, I really enjoyed the job that I left, so it was actually quite difficult to leave my job and go full time with this, because I kind of enjoyed where I was, but then I can't say no to going full time as a photographer.
And that's it's very good to share that for the community, because I know we have a lot of people watching and they also enjoy photography. And I would say, like, don't be shy, you know, like do like Thomas, go in the streets, take pictures of people.
Yeah.
Street photography, it's hard at the beginning because you can be scared of, you know, you take pictures of people, sometimes without really authorization. So
Yeah. It took me like months to be brave enough and bold enough to approach like people and take the photo. But in the end, I had this technique like so well, like it was so well like in my head that I could be like in your face and you wouldn't notice that I took your shot. So
Like a ninja.
I'm not that good anymore because, you know, I switched to camera like almost 3 years ago, and haven't been shooting that much mobile anymore. But I still enjoy it sometimes. Yeah.
that's great. And we have questions also about what you did, like how do you approach? So it's for the three of you, Instagram. So we have, for instance, like for you, Natalie, when do you make the decision of putting this picture, sharing this picture on Instagram? You know, like what motivates you, or do you want to do? I will share a picture every day. You know, like do you have a plan or?
Non, j'ai pas vraiment de plan.
She doesn't have really a plan.
Après, en fait, je fais des photos au moment là où je suis.
Okay. Wherever she is, she takes pictures. Whatever happens.
Voilà, j'attends le bon moment pour
Waiting
pouvoir
for the
avoir
right moment.
mon petit personnage, ma bonne lumière.
The light, you're waiting for the light, like here.
Voilà, c'est souvent beaucoup de patience.
Or having a character in the picture, like this one. Just to add some motion in this case, that's good. Oh, I know where this is. This is the final scene of the Da Vinci Code, you know?
Yes.
Or this light, I mean, yeah.
Ouais.
How many shots can you take to have one picture? Well, you say, okay.
Non.
Like
5, 10.
5 to 10 shots, and then you say, okay, I have my picture.
J'attendais que le petit vélo passe, qu'il y ait un
she was
personnage.
waiting for the bike. She was always waiting for a character, some motion. So that's really what defines, I would say, your style too. Is that it's not only a landscape or just architecture. Like someone is living there. Like there's always some life and a character. And so for you, Paper Boyo, it requires more planning.
Yeah, it's a bit more planned in terms of what I'm going to shoot. I don't necessarily plan what I'm going to post and in which order. It's sort of that's a bit more spontaneous.
And do you tell yourself, okay, I need to post every week?
No, not at all. I think I sort of post. I don't mind not posting for a few days.
Okay.
I know a lot of Instagrammers who quite like to post every single day, which is fine. But for me, I feel like maybe because my style is quite niche, if I oversaturated it as such, it might get a little bit boring.
And Thomas, you post a lot?
Not as much as I did before. I mean,
you were crazy before.
In the very beginning, I was crazy, like 5 to 6 the pictures a day. But I didn't care. Back then, it was good for me because I was at the very beginning of my photography career, and I had to practice, and that was like the best training that I could have asked for, because I was like on the streets for 8-9 hours per day and just like shooting away. And but when I compare it to today, it's like completely a different world, because at some point, when you develop your style further, especially when I think of myself, I have a clear vision today about how my account should look like.
Okay.
And,
like an artistic direction, like a creative direction.
When it comes to tonality as well, how the pictures look next to each other. I wouldn't like post one after that randomly.
You will pay attention to. Has to be
I have become really obsessed with that, I gotta say, like to a point where it's sometimes really difficult, because when I can't post something because it doesn't fit, I can't post, so I have to wait until I get something new that fits, and this can take 5 days, sometimes a week, and then I'm like out for the time.
And do you have any advice, because they were asking like how to build followers? Like today, if you have to start on Instagram, what would be your
you cannot compare it, the circumstances that we have today to the ones that we had like 7 years ago. Back then, when we started, at least Natalie and I, the community was much smaller, like ridiculously small compared to today. So it was much easier to get noticed. I mean, it's as easy as that. And today, you have like millions of highly talented people like competing against each other for visibility. And it's very, very hard to stand out in that crowd, but not impossible. I mean, if you are creative and you have like a story to tell, then you will find your audience sooner or later.
And someone noticed, Alexandre, that now he can access the Lightroom pictures directly from the start screen of Photoshop. So this is also why we are mentioning that there is this new version of Lightroom CC where everything is based on the cloud, where previous workflows, it was massively based on desktop, where you would store everything. And now that's in the cloud, and you are also mobile photographers, it's pretty cool, because You can take pictures, they are automatically synced in the cloud. You can watch it on, you can actually from Lightroom Mobile directly share on Instagram, edit your pictures. So this is something you should try today. Like if you're watching, if you don't know the Lightroom, maybe you can start with Lightroom Mobile too. Like you can download it on the App Store and yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. Let us know how you feel about it. But I think it's very easy to use, but also you have very professional filters, settings to create amazing pictures, such as our friends. And now you can access the catalog from Lightroom, from Spark. Do you know Spark?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so Spark, where you can tell a story. And by the way, see the professional transition? This is a Spark. So Spark, this is also something we were talking about it during the keynote this morning. If you didn't watch the keynote, on Behance there is the Watch the Keynote tab. So I invite you to watch it because you have all the announcements about Lightroom and also Spark, which is now part of Creative Cloud. So if you're a Creative Cloud member, you can use Spark with the premium features and brand your pages, your videos, and your posts. And here, this is a story of the road to Max. So who wants to explain what was the concept? Maybe you want to explain what it was?
Yeah, so we had a 9-day, I can't remember if it was 9 or 10 days, something like that, road trip leading up to coming here to Las Vegas. So we started in Los Angeles, and it's all blurred into each other because we've done so much and we've shot so much content over the last 9 days. But yeah, we started in Los Angeles, and we did, well, you know what, at the start we sort of joked that we should do every sunrise and sunset, and it was just meant to be a bit of a joke, and then I think we have actually pretty much seen every sunrise and sunset between Los Angeles and here on our trip, except for maybe 1 or 2. So we've hardly had any sleep, but we've shot so much content and we've been to so many places, so many diverse places as well. It's been a really, and for me, I've never shot in RAW before, so I use this as an opportunity to learn how to shoot in RAW and also how to cook.
So can you explain what is RAW maybe for?
Yeah, so for some reason I just always shot in JPEG because it's smaller memory, but it also means because it's smaller memory, there's less detail that you can edit and play around with. So I started shooting in RAW this week because I had Sven, who is basically a Lightroom expert, so we had him with us all week, so he could show me basically how the workflow of working with a RAW file, and also I was just blown away by how much detail is hidden within one of those files, because you can really change the colors, you can really boost one part and keep another part the same. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are watching this who are experts in RAW and probably think I'm an idiot at the moment, but to be introduced to it was really cool. Yeah.
That's amazing. So yeah, and also like if you have a professional camera or like the Fuji, you have the options, I think, in the settings where you can say I want to shoot JPEG, so it will be compressed, or RAW plus JPEG. Yep. But the good news is that if you have an iPhone, actually with Lightroom Mobile, you can shoot RAW.
Yeah.
Like with a phone.
Yeah, that's what we did during the trip as well.
Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing, because you get all the information that directly goes to the sensor of the phone, of the camera, and yeah, as you said, you can maybe reveal some lights, reveal some details, and just using Lightroom.
What I even liked more on the new Lightroom was the HDR mode, where it like takes 3 different exposures and stacks them or merges them into one shot, and I got some pretty neat results using this.
So that was the story. You arrived in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And you went to Vegas and you took pictures and shared the pictures.
Yeah.
And today is the final day where we will discover all these pictures. So let us know in the chat what you think about the pictures. What is your favorite one? We see, there are some people shooting RAW in the chat. It's funny. And you did some Facebook Lives too.
We did an epic one at the Grand Canyon where we very nearly
have you seen it?
Like I watched this one. I watched the one in LA. Okay, so you started in LA, Venice Beach.
Yep.
Which is like how do you say, like it's cult. I just say it in French. Just for Italy, because I don't know how to say it in English. And okay, what is this? Redondo? Is it in LA?
Yes.
Okay, so you went here, then seaside. Okay.
So this was an amazing location.
And you went to Angeles and Quest.
Yeah. So it's about 40 minutes outside of the city. And it was. I've been to LA a few times. So I've never been to this bit.
It was like the first thing that we did when we went to LA. Like the first morning, we had this epic sunrise, like out of LA with the cars, and Yeah, it was like the perfect start for this trip. Yeah.
Good cars as well, yeah.
And it seems like so long ago already, but it's like not even 2 weeks.
It really does feel like a long time ago.
Oh, then downtown, okay.
Yeah, so I was really keen to go and explore some of the street art downtown.
Okay.
Really great seeing that.
Oh, Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Of course, the pier. Okay, this is downtown. And then
we went
Joshua
to
Tree.
Palm Springs.
Was it Palm Springs first?
Yeah.
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs.
So it all blends
West.
into each other.
Oh yeah, there's so many
that
different
was,
spots.
that was Salton Sea. Salton
Oh,
Lake.
Salted Sea.
Yeah, Salton Sea. Yeah.
I can't wait to see the pictures. Now I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, go. Uh-oh.
And that was one I shot in Phoenix. And we had an amazing sunset here in Phoenix.
That park was really. Here it is. Yeah. This was incredible, actually.
The new Lightroom CC.
Yeah.
Okay, we will see what you did.
Yeah.
And the Grand Canyon.
That's the Grand Canyon. Yeah. I think we went to the south.
I've never
rim.
been.
Have you not? No. We should go.
Oh
after
my
that.
god.
Yeah, we did a sunset and we did a sunrise there, and both were, the colours were just so different both times. It was incredible.
You met some bikers.
Yeah.
Always good friends. Okay, now let's check the work. What did you do? So you shared everything on Instagram?
Yeah, I've got some stuff.
So what was your workflow? You had you used the iPhones, or you used also?
I did a bit of both. I
did a
shot
bit of
a bit of both. Yeah.
Yeah, I mainly use a camera, but particularly on this trip, since the goal was like to challenge ourselves and to break out of our routine a little bit, I was trying to shoot a little bit more mobile, and also, of course, I was forced to shoot like stuff that I usually wouldn't shoot.
Okay.
Which was super.
You challenge yourself.
Yeah, it was super challenging. Not always easy, because I told you I'm like super obsessive about my account and about the things that I post, so it was not like easy for me to do this. But when I look at my account now and see like the last 6 or 7 pictures that I posted, I can tell that I like it, and I think that I succeeded in still maintaining like my workflow, and I still, when I look at the first 9 shots on my account, I still like them, and I don't feel like I had to do something that bothers me.
Cool. And Nathalie, you use the Fuji?
Oui, j'utilise le Fuji et
Using the
le
Fuji.
smartphone aussi.
And also the iPhone?
Par exemple, la dernière photo, enfin la première, voilà, celle-là.
So this one, for instance?
Je l'ai pris avec le smartphone parce que comme c'était tout petit,
with the iPhone? Ah, because it was so small?
J'avais pas un grand angle sur mon
Oh,
Fuji.
she needed a wide angle, and you didn't have the wide angle lens for the Fuji, so in this case you used the iPhone.
Donc du coup, voilà, j'étais obligée de
And it
faire
looks
autrement.
great. Look at these colors. Okay, so maybe we can start. So what was the first picture, Nathalie? So this one was in LA, right? Is it this one?
This, ouais.
Okay, so this
Ça,
is.
c'était à Los Angeles
It was in Los Angeles.
pour le sunrise.
Sunrise in LA. Okay.
C'est super parce qu'il y a énormément de nature. J'ai pas l'habitude
Yeah.
de voir
So much
autant
nature.
de nature.
Yeah, in Paris we
Et
don't have this kind of shots. Yeah, it's very hard to take in Paris. And is it Santa Monica?
Oui,
the pier?
Santa Monica.
And you found some characters, so that's good.
Ouais.
Finally, some people.
Moi, j'ai trouvé ça super mignon parce que c'était le papa avec son petit garçon qui regardait la mer, et j'ai trouvé ça très touchant.
And yeah, so we have, I see some questions about the differences between the Lightroom Classic and the new Lightroom. So what we call Lightroom Classic is the Lightroom desktop base, so the workflow that we're using for about 10 years. And the new one with the new architecture, the new UI, which works on mobile, web, desktop, and everything is synced in the cloud, is now Lightroom CC, because we think this is the future of photography. And we have some questions in the chat about, like, can I migrate my catalog? Yes, you can. What happened with my Lightroom mobile? So we have Michelle Way in the chat, and Michelle will answer all your questions. She is the Lightroom expert, so we are very lucky to have her answering live. She's next to us. So don't hesitate. If you have any technical questions, she's here to answer the questions. But let us know what you think about this new Lightroom CC. We're very excited. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a
Alors là,
nice shot.
c'était au Salton Sea.
So So it was the Salt Sea, okay.
Et donc là,
Very
en fait,
dry.
là, on a couru après le coucher de soleil.
Oh, they were running after the sun
J'étais avec Thomas K.
with Thomas.
Et en fait, avant qu'on aille jusqu'à l'eau, on a dû courir très longtemps. Et puis pour la petite histoire, en fait,
You have to run to the sea like for a very, very long
avant
time.
d'arriver à l'eau, en fait,
Before getting to the water.
on est tombé dans la vase
Oh, they fall into the mud.
jusqu'aux chevilles.
They
Et
were
donc, on
covered
n'a
with
pas
mud,
pu faire la photo qu'on voulait.
so they couldn't take the shot. It's a risky life.
Anything for the ground.
Everything. Oh,
Ça, c'est Joshua Tree,
Joshua Tree.
un parc national gigantesque où on a fait des photos au sunrise.
So in this case, like, do you have to use HDR in this case because like you have so many plants. Like, do you have to play with the settings to really reveal the landscape? Du beaucoup retouché avec.
Non, pas beaucoup. Je
Non?
fais pas beaucoup de retouches.
Ok.
J'essaye d'avoir
Tries to keep
l'image
it natural.
vraiment dès le départ. Après, effectivement, j'édite un peu de
Yeah,
lumière et de
She had to edit
contraste
the lights and contrast in this case.
et de couleurs.
And colors. Okay. So mainly working with light, contrast, and colors. Which so I don't know what you think, but like playing with the exposure, like lights, contrast, and colors usually covers I don't know, like 90% of the work now. What's your opinion on that? Like when you edit your pictures, what are the settings that you are using?
So for me, it's a lot about shadows, especially if I'm holding up a piece of blank paper. If I hold it against anything that's a slightly dark background, I've really got to make sure the background. So actually, yeah, that one, the Banksy, that's a good example. So if you look at the shovel, like I had to, I mean, it's not the greatest edit I've ever done, but I had to bring up the brightness on the light on the edge of the paper, so I could stand out against the black of that.
So this is typically a setting that you have to edit in.
Yeah,
Lightroom
something I have to be
just
careful about.
To make it pop. Otherwise,
to
you
make
don't
it pop.
feel the shape.
Exactly.
Okay.
For me, I mean, it's difficult to say. I use all of these settings.
You use all the settings of Lightroom.
always, based on what I want to reach or what I want to achieve in the photo. So yeah, a lot of exposure, of course, shadows as well. I play like with darkness but also with the different colors. I like to enhance some colors I like to remove like completely out of my picture. So yeah, it becomes complicated sometimes. Let's put it like that. Yeah.
There was one photo you did like 6 different edits on, wasn't there? On the trip.
6 different edits.
Yeah, I mean that's common actually. That I do like more edits. Like 3 or 4, 6 is like an exception. That was really a lot. But usually I do like 2 or 3, and then I decide like which one I like the most or which one fits my stream the most at the moment, and that's the one I pick in the end.
Wow. So this one, Natalie, is impressive.
Oui, c'était assez impressionnant.
It was very impressive. Who are they?
C'était des gens qui étaient là, qui,
just people. They were just
qui
there.
admiraient le coucher de soleil.
Just
Et
admiring
comme
the
j'aime
sun.
prendre des gens
Yeah, you
dans
like
le
to-
milieu naturel.
She likes to include characters in
Voilà.
the natural landscape. So yeah, it works. Good story. And and this one too, nice colors.
Grand Canyon.
This is Grand Canyon already. Wow. A lot of likes. It's okay, no? You want
yes.
more? Okay, she needs
No,
more
it's
likes.
okay, it's okay.
It's okay, but she needs more likes. So make sure to follow Natalie on Instagram and give her more likes, okay? I will do this. I need to log in. I will do it after. I will give you more likes. And so what was your story on the road to Max?
Yeah.
Because you
My first one was
this one?
Well, I shot that last year when I came here,
Ah,
but
okay.
I wanted to repost it just because it's
Just
a
a
great sunset.
repost. So is it the first one?
The first one I made was the Pac-Man top
Here.
right. Yeah. So this was Santa Monica, and I actually used Adobe After Effects.
Really?
I used Photoshop and After Effects for this one to bring this one to life, and it was an idea I'd had a while ago, and
nice.
just wanted to do something kind of fun and a bit different to start off the road to Max.
That's
Yeah.
good.
It was a bit tricky, like doing an edit whilst on the road and in a bit of a rush, but yeah, it sort of came out okay.
That's good. Someone is asking, yeah, what about Behance? It's a good question to cast because now that we also have Lightroom CC with the pictures in the cloud, you can access when you create a Behance project. So let's say you want to share your story on Behance, and create a project. You can directly access your Lightroom pictures from Behance and say, I want to post this one, this one, this one, and then you tell your story and you publish. You don't have to import, where are they on my disk? No, they are already there, so it's very cool. But yeah, good question. To cast. Mike say, wow, the concept is amazing. Yeah, they really like the background. So what is this building?
So that is in Phoenix. It's actually a salad restaurant on the outskirts of town. And when I was doing my research for where we were going on this trip, I typed in Phoenix, architecture, and one of the first things I saw was that building. And straight away I had this idea. Like, normally it takes me a long time to come up with ideas, but this was straight away. So I got one of the guys drove me to this salad restaurant on the outskirts of Phoenix to go shoot this photo, and I'm so glad we got it because
so good.
It's nice because I feel with Instagram you've got to be able to share your idea, your story really quickly because people scroll through so quickly.
Yeah,
and I think this one just works very nice. And then I did a few different things. So I've got 3 photos here which aren't paper art; they're just normal photos. This one is one I shot in RAW on my mobile and then edited it. So this is the first time I've ever edited a RAW thing.
Ah, your first edit in RAW?
Yes, yeah.
And you shot it with the iPhone?
Yeah, I've got Android, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Lightroom is also on Android. Sorry, I keep saying iPhone. If you're an Android user, you can use Lightroom Mobile, and you can shoot in RAW. And actually, they were the first Lightroom Mobile shooting in RAW, which was first on Android, and then on iOS. Yeah. So respect for Android users. So you shot in RAW, and then using the Lightroom settings, you were able to get the background coming.
Exactly, I did a little bit of selective on the foreground rocks, and the light, that was just after sunrise, so the light was hitting the tree in the bottom really beautifully, and it was fun to edit that actually. It was cool to see just how different. Because I used a bit of dehaze and stuff in the mountains in the background, and it was amazing how much detail you could either gain or lose. Yeah. And then this was inside Antelope Canyon, which is a very famous spot in Arizona.
Yeah, I think it was the first picture taken at this place now. The first in the history.
Yeah. I think we were the first tourists to ever go there.
The first tourists going there.
So, yeah.
Wow, it's amazing.
Very, very nice of Adobe to make that happen. We will never forget it.
Yeah, but I mean, it is a beautiful. And actually, we were so lucky. We had a tour guide who was very good, and she was quite bossy with the other tourists, so she cleared a lot of space for us to take photos. So Thomas has got a great photo, which I'm sure we'll see in a moment.
That's great.
And then this was a spontaneous. We went on this trek hike in. It wasn't Zion National Park. It was very and we went at the perfect time of day. So it was like in a canyon, and the light was coming through at exactly the right time. And we were literally walking up this sort of river in our shoes and bare feet in some cases. And I didn't have my tripod on me, so I found like a rock that I precariously balanced my camera on and did a couple of long exposures, and then this one came out nicely. And I touched it up a little bit in Lightroom to get the shadows and the vignette, but I'm pretty happy with that.
So the vignette is this effect where you put the corner darker so you can focus on the center on a specific topic. Yeah. Which is also one slider in Lightroom. If you haven't tried, the vignette is actually the new Lightroom CC. It's a very smart one because with vignettes, we always do the same. I mean, most of the time. But then you can have more settings. And with Lightroom CC, when you will try it, you will see vignette, and then there will be a tiny icon next to it, an arrow, where you can show the advanced settings for vignetting. So if you want to play with the feather, if you want to play with where is the center of your vignette, you can still access these details, but we really wanted to try a UI like super efficient, super easy to use, and the vignette is a very good example. And what you did here is a beautiful example. And that's a good one.
This one's over the road, yeah. And I'm gonna do maybe 1 or 2 more whilst I'm in Vegas.
In Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, so there'll be a couple more appearing over the next couple of days, I think.
And yeah, Lightroom CC, the new one, is super fast, very fast performance. So Thomas, you published 6 pictures, you said.
Or 7 even. So.
7? Oh. So it started here?
I started with this one, yeah. It's the spot that Rich was already telling you about, the Angeles Crest Highway, the one that we went to on the first morning for sunrise. And I wanted to have that, low angle street shot with those yellow paint on the street since I knew that I'm coming to LA, so it had to be like my first shot.
And we have Joshua, he's now trying the vignette live. Okay, so let us know what you think about vignetting.
And in that case,
texture is
I had the texture,
amazing.
I had the sunset, and the only thing that was missing was, again, the human element, which in my opinion was missing. So I asked Natalie, and she was generous enough to be my model, and I'm really happy with the result. Actually, it's a
great picture.
Yeah, I think it's also the one that performed best out of all the shots. So.
Oh, that's thanks to Natalie.
Of course, thanks to Natalie.
It's a great addition.
Merci.
Merci Natalie. And this one?
This is LA.
Is it LA? Wow, it doesn't look like LA.
It's like a classic Instagram spot, to be honest. So it was an easy shot, yeah. But to be completely honest, I didn't intend to go there. I found this by accident on our way back from the sunset spot, which was quite a disaster because we were too late for sunset, and I was really, really sad. And then on the way back, I found this spot, and everything was all right again. So I did a long exposure, as you can see there. Don't even remember how long. I didn't have a tripod, so I laid the camera on the ground, and
it worked very well.
And
still have a lot of details.
It worked somehow. And yeah, I mean, it sums up my style pretty much. It's super dark. There are like a dominant color. You have here red or orange popping up,
and green contrast.
And you have a dark cityscape in the background.
With
so it's very urban,
Batman
like
jumping.
So yeah, I like it.
It's a great picture.
Thank you. Then we have this epic sunset in Phoenix that was already mentioned here. I think I don't have anything more to say. We all need palm trees in our lives and reflections and sunsets, and it was all there. So yeah, easy shot, let's put it like that.
Jan Eric says it's amazing that smartphones can capture RAW files, because we have Joshua who's like, oh my god, I can take RAW files with my sensor.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was super surprised myself when I realized that for the first time, because I remember when I switched to RAW, like really from mobile to proper RAW, it was like such an incredible experience. Like when I realized how much more control I have over the picture and how much more detail I can recover or hide, given like my own mood or the photo that I want to create. So it was quite a game changer. And again, I think with shooting RAW on mobile, can be compared to that. Yeah, again, low angle.
Less likes because Natalie's not on the shot.
Yeah, you see?
See?
Exactly. Yeah, Natalie, I take you to Berlin, you have to be in all my shots. So, but that's actually, again, a shot that I really personally like, even though it performed a little worse than the others. But that's like,
someone says more like painting, this one.
Also the edit, I mean, it took me very long to get this edit like straight, the way that I wanted it, to get the tones the way I wanted it, to make the yellow pop again, to get the sky so dark, to lose the blue at first time, because I never would post the blue sky on my feed, and then to get the sun to look like that. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, they say like from one picture, like one RAW file, you can develop so many pictures. Yeah. And this is exactly what you're showing with your work. Like with Lightroom, we had a campaign that says, take it, make it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you take a picture,
relate to that,
and then with Lightroom, you make
exactly.
pictures. And this is exactly what you're doing. It's amazing, like what you can do with
yeah, then we
Lightroom
have another favorite, like a place that I wanted to see, like since I was a kid, and a place that I've seen like so often on Instagram. But still, when I got there, I mean, I was like blown away. And no matter how often you see like places like that, I mean, as long as you still can appreciate like the beauty of them, and I think it was definitely a highlight of this trip.
This is quite fun. We were running a little bit late that night.
Yeah, we were running again.
When we got out of the car, there's about a 20-minute walk between the car park and there. And Thomas and I were literally running to the very edge of that rock to get that in time. We got there just in time.
Yeah, like 5 minutes later, the sun was gone.
It's an amazing picture. Really amazing.
Yeah, then you have Antelope Canyon again. This time I wanted to have again a human element in the picture, mainly to show like the scale between the place and the human, of course. So I wish I had an even more like wide-angle lens to get the to get the person even smaller and to have the space bigger. But that's all I could get with my 12mm, and I'm still happy with that. I mean, just look at the light and
yeah, you can feel the.
It took me even a while to get the orange and the red tones like out from there, and yeah, I'm really happy how this one turned out.
This one is. Oh, it looks like gold.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, I never saw something like that before.
Did you work in Lightroom too to reveal the yellow there?
Of course, I had to work on it, but
you have to work on your pictures.
It was there. I mean, I did it in Lightroom, not in Photoshop, so I only had to enhance the yellow. But this is really the reflection of the yellow color of the tree reflecting like on the water. And to be honest, I mean, I've been doing it for a while, but I've never seen something like that before. And again, I was super blown away. And with this shot, I would say this shot again like reflects totally like my style and my kind of editing, and you see there is like one dominant color which is yellow and the rest is like very stripped down, very dark, and so
it might be my favorite. Let us know in the chat the one you prefer.
Thank you so much.
I think this one is.
I think that's my favorite.
Yeah, I really like this one. So yeah, so it's almost time, you know. So
that was quick.
Thanks for sharing your experience, you know, and also I invite all people watching that. These are great stories because they all started to take pictures just for fun or as a passion, just because you like taking pictures. Yeah. And now you are all professional photographers. You are all very popular on Instagram, and you have your followers, and I'm sure you have customers also contacting you, I'm pretty sure, to cut papers for some campaigns. I'm pretty sure it will come. You have a book. And this is really what we're trying to say, is that now take your smartphone. We were all amazed in the chat because you can take RAW pictures, but even if you don't know what RAW is, just take pictures with your smartphone using Lightroom CC. You can directly share on Instagram, and like Thomas, who is a hardcore user, you can make pictures. So just from one shot, play with all the settings, trying to understand the light. As Latte was saying, it's very important in her work. Light, contrast, colors, and just share and get feedback. I mean, it was awesome stories. And so you enjoyed the Road to Max?
Yeah.
You had a good time? Yeah, it was a good experience?
Great experience.
Sorry you were sick this morning. Sorry. I hope you will get better. But thanks for coming. It was super nice. And now it's your turn, okay? So if you're a Creative Cloud members, you already have access to this new version of Lightroom CC. If not, it's okay, you can try it for free. Just go on adobe.com in the Lightroom page. We also have amazing tutorials. If you have no idea about how to use Lightroom, they are just tutorials. They are free, it's on adobe.com, you just learn. They all say merci, they say merci. Merci, thank you.
Thank you guys.
Dankeschön, I don't know, we'll try everything. And we are live on behance.net/live. We will still be live for a lot of hours today. I think that next is it about UX design, the next one?
Very important topic.
Let me check. So actually we have a schedule tab, so maybe I should click on schedule and it will tell me what we have. Yeah, Lex is Dunsky. He's a UX designer, and he will use also a new app that we announced this morning, which is Adobe XD, which is now released. It was a beta for 2 years, and now it's official. So we will discover with Dunsky and Talin, who is the lead designer of XD, what is XD. Thanks again. Make sure to follow our friends, make sure to take pictures, and try the new Lightroom CC, and we will be back in 5 minutes. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.